Hi, today is Wednesday, the 11th of December 2019, and we're just building up to a full moon in Gemini tomorrow at 05:12, I believe, in the UK. So today, in terms of the Mayan calendar, we are still in the yellow seed 13-day process, and as you can see, 10 days of portals. Today we are on yellow solar human, and so it's the gateway today. Every solar day is a gateway where we can go on to another level. So today, this is all about planet Earth. Yellow human, that's the planet, is here on Earth. And the cards that I've had today, quite exciting cards actually. So we've got Realm Shift, which is really key because, like I said, it's a gateway. When we get to day 9 of any wave spell, we can access the next level then, if we're doing the inner work, of course. And the Thoth card is the Queen of Cups, which is a card I get quite a lot. It's key for me. Again, it's about sovereignty on one level of the emotions, of the emotional mind. And in terms of astrologically speaking with Thoth, this queen rules from the 21 degrees in Gemini to 20 degrees Cancer. So the full moon coming in tomorrow is at 19 degrees Gemini. And I'm going to read you where we are now, which is Gemini 13 degrees. Garlic hung at the window for protection, stationed in isolate containment to cultivate gifts, virtues, talents, and special offerings. Generously endowed with timing grace to preserve and maintain worlds apart. You are directed from within to divulge nothing and remain in telepathic wavelength beyond words. Inside there, you become conversant with extraordinary spheres and are held in a purity of protection and veiling, a kind of otherness which rarely is seen for what it is. You extrovert into apparent display and meanwhile keep everything essential for later, a perfect arrangement for very special fosterings and streams, and virtually impenetrable and somewhere else to be unlimited inside the world. Tomorrow, we are in red planetary Skywalker, and so we are completing, we're seeing the manifestation of where we were in red Skywalker, because when we complete this particular 13-day process, we then begin a new scroll with red Earth. So we're going to go on to a whole different level of mastery then. So we're going back to the 3rd of September till the 15th of September, and what we were engaging in then around creating heaven on earth. And remember, red Skywalker has 3 clear signs in it. If you want to check out more information, check out my blog, flowwithjo.com, where there is key information about that, about the clear signs. And the whole point of the clear signs is for the human beings to get clear of their story, basically, so that they can create heaven on earth from that clear inner space, having released, healed, and created solutions, created learning, created mastery of relationship, basically. So just to go back to the Queen of Cups. Okay, so to go back to the Thoth card, Queen of Cups and Eli Tarot, strikingly.com is a great website. So the Queen of Cups, again, this is just a snapshot of what he writes, and he does write a lot and go into great depth. A mature motherly woman with deep sexual powers and fertility that may manifest as actual motherhood or through a creative line of work. Her ability to give birth to new forms, new talents, new identities, and new life is symbolised by the stork on the Thoth card. She represents a woman with a view, creative imagination, who is the expression of emotional authenticity and congruity about motherhood issues and issues surrounding maternal or female authority figures in one's life. She does not use feelings to attack, nor does she feel the need to apologise for her feelings. And so on, and so it goes on. And remember, this 260-day cycle is all about the mother wound, cancer, the home, mothering, nurturing, not necessarily just the mother, but the person who, or persons who are involved in our caretaking, and all the lineage that goes with that as well. And in terms of Gemini energy, this is the co-creation energy, this is the energy of relationship. And just to say, for tomorrow, Gemini at 19 degrees. Strange creatures peeking out from behind trees, surprises, destiny shocks, stunning events present a way to evolve rapidly for the daring and the wild. Whatever you assume and prepare for, the moment shall be different. Nothing is meant to be straightforward here. You must be kept on the alert, prompted, beguiled, tricked, anything to help you leap off. The biggest trick is to identify consciously with an innocent, youthful, almost hopelessly ingenuous persona, and then to magnetize a destiny that would never come to such a basic kind of person. This way, the edge, the tension, the joke is perfectly poised, stretched just far enough to trip you up every time. The greater self finds its ways to get at a little self who wants to hide in safe places, when instead a much larger destiny is in the works, which insists upon knocking at your door, preferably a back door or side door, to jump right in, scare the living daylights out of you and wake you up for the next scintillating adventure along a vast and unlimited spectrum. So get the picture on that one. It's strong, it's powerful, and it's remembering that we've come here to do this great work. Those of you who are watching this, who are doing inner work, that is the key. And not to get bogged down in these very heavy, earthy human being stories that we're in. Because we have to be in them to know them and to explore them, to understand fully, embody what they're all about. And then to heal that and release that and let go. So that from all of that, the phoenix rises from the ashes, that we really are an expert on that whole story, so we can completely let go of it on every level. And I've just been reading a lot about the Kabbalah and Judaism and, you know, all sorts of different threads there around trying to get an understanding of the story. It's key to my lineage, and as always, I find the perfect thing pops up at the perfect time for me to explore and read more. So I've been reading a lot of Alice Hoffman at the moment, and if you haven't read any of her work, I invite you to explore it because it is really amazing. I've just read Incantation, and literally in a day I read it, and it was absolutely key to my understanding on a whole different level around magic, basically around working with conscious intent, working with the amazing forces that come up in so many different ways, in so many different frameworks. But basically, they are all the same. And that the key purpose of this time for people who are doing this work is to really get into our centre, to be grounded, to be earthed through healing anything that has ungrounded us, has unearthed us, because we're holding the whole story in our DNA, in our lineage. And so tomorrow we see where we're at with that in terms of how we are creating heaven on earth. This is not some sort of point scoring either. You know, I want to make that really clear. That is not where I'm coming from at all. Most people that I know are going through a really, really difficult, hard time right now because they're right in the midst of it all. They're seeing the culmination of their ancestral story. And we are at the end of times. We're at times of revelation, the apocalypse. All of this means it's time to end these old ways. You know, it's really time to go beyond these old ways of being. So it is tough. It is everything that's going to bring us into being a clear human being, who disciplined, courageous, willing to go the extra mile to deliver the goods. Okay, so it's the making of us, this space. It really is the making of us. So hang on in there and really connect to frameworks that will help you really get into your center. This is survival mode, and really, really can't say that strong enough. You know, you have to do what it takes now for your own self-preservation. Do it, you know, do it. This is what Yellow Human Gateway is all about. For me, this is a very special day because this is a burner day. And so what is a burner day? Again, I've done a blog about this, and there are classic framework burner days on the planet which have been used historically to vent human emotion. Now, these come around every 65 days. Burner days come around every 65 days, either on a planetary level or on a personal level. That is because all of these are in 13-day process. And so 4 lots of 13-day process is what we call a castle, which is 52 years. And then when you add another 13 onto that, it's 65. And that's when your burner day comes up. Okay, so it's like an additional shift process. You've done the basics, and then you're on an additional shift. The planetary days are red self-existing serpent, white self-existing dog, blue self-existing eagle, and yellow self-existing sun. Now, in this particular cycle that we are in, this 20-day cycle that we're in, we are going to be coming up to a burner day of yellow self-existing sun. So we'll be seeing where humanity is on the planet, and that comes up on the 19th of December. Okay, so that's a key date for your diary. 19th of December, yellow self-existing sun. In terms of our own personal burner day, it depends what your Mayan sign is. Okay, so because mine is blue solar hand, my tribe is red earth, white wind, blue hand, yellow human. Okay, so whenever it's red solar earth, white solar wind, blue solar hand, or yellow solar human, like it is today, That is a burner day for me. Again, I know this is complicated. There's nothing that I can do about that except try and explain it to you. So if, for example, you are a magnetic, so a white magnetic wind, for example, okay? So every magnetic in your cycle, so again, that's the same family as me, so red magnetic earth, white magnetic wind, blue magnetic hand, yellow magnetic human, those are your burner days. Okay, so first of all, you've got to know what your tribe is, your 4 different signs that are part of your tribe together. And if you want to know that, please get in touch with me. If you don't know that already, I'll be happy to tell you what it is. And so then every 65 days, you will have a power day. And again, depending on what it is, so for example, red is about awakening, white is about refining, blue is about transforming, and yellow is the manifestation of that. So for me, it's about where I am as a human being on my gateway day today. What have I manifest? Where am I? How is my energy moving in my body? Because that's what Yellow Human is all about. What is my life like on planet Earth today? And so once you start to know more about these signs and when they come up, then you can really start to work with conscious awareness. And whenever you're starting to work with conscious intent, this is the equivalent of magic, okay? So this is really key. This is what it's all about. Understanding and then working with conscious intent in a really powerful way. Because the more conscious that we become, the more aware of our patterns that we become, the more we can work with this awareness. And it's just working through all these different levels, and it becomes more and more powerful. We become more and more aware. So in terms of my information today, your burner years appear in your cycles every 13 years. Once you've done 52 years, you've completed all of your cycles. In other words, you've done 4 lots of 13-year cycles. You become a Mayan elder at the age of 52. So every 13 years, you will have a burner day. And so, for example, for me, when I was born, I was a blue solar hand. And then the next gateway was in 1978 when I was age 13. And that's what a repeat of today's energy is, yellow solar human. And today is a portal day. It's a day of human evolution. For me, all that year, when I was 13, I'd become a teenager. I'd moved to a different place. I was at high school. All of those experiences are really key for me. So every time that this sign comes around, which is once in 260-day cycle, that's what I'm downloading. That's what I'm working with. And again, to take it to a different level, again, you can work out what the energy was on the planet. Well, it was a red crystal moon on the planet that year in 1978. That was the planetary energy. Now, when you combine those together, you get blue nights and you get blue electric nights by adding the numbers together. This is a key awakening code. This is the conscious dreamer code. This is the alchemy code. So again, this is a practical way to use, to map this information of these cycles, to drill down and become really clear about what that time was for you as a human evolution person. Most people aren't consciously aware of anything that's going on for them right now. But for people who are and who are expanding their awareness, this is how you can really start to work on a very deep level with it as and when you're ready to do that. So I've just written down all my key days, and you know, if I add 13 years onto that, it's my next one was Red Solar Earth when I was 26. That was in 1991. And then the next one after that was in 2004 when I was 39. That was White Solar Wind, and so on and so on. So you can see how you can really start to work with these codes. So even if you may not be consciously aware of what's going on for you right now, you can use these to give you extra information about very specific years, so you know how the divinity matrix is working. You can become very consciously aware of the code for yourself and how you fit into this complex bigger picture, which I know it is really complicated, and it has to be, you know, when you think about it, absolutely has to be extremely complex, because it's an amazing creative pattern. So just to say a little bit more about the Mayan signs. So whatever Mayan sign you are, every 20 days you get a different, slightly different awareness of your Mayan sign, because there are 13 different vibrations of that. So every 20 days you're going through a loop where you can really tune in and connect to the next level. And remember, these don't follow linear numbers because they are spirals, okay? And because that is the nature, the true nature of the creative code of the universe, the cosmic code of the universe. So it's really important to understand that a lot of these codes are so different to what we've been conditioned to believe in. So another code for today is we are in day 27 of Red Overtone Moon. And that means tomorrow the full moon is going to be day 28. So again, you can see how the astrology and the Mayan click together. And again, for me, it's like when I'm going through particularly challenging times where I've got doubts going on and I don't really understand, the human part of me, the conditioned part of me feels lost, feels what on earth is happening, you know, because I've been conditioned to believe that if I do certain things, everything will be okay. And actually, that's a complete lie. And now I'm starting to find out the truth of that. Well, I've been knowing that for a long time now, but it just gets deeper and deeper. It is like, you know, Alice through the looking glass down the rabbit hole. So it's recognizing that there is a code in place, there is a framework in place, and it can help ground and center us. It can help make sense of things, even though we may not understand all of the language. It's that there is a bigger framework going on. And the reason why it has to be so tough for us now is we've been going so far in the wrong direction for integrity, for truth, for health as human beings, that it is like swimming upstream. You know, that's where we're at right now. We're swimming upstream to start to reverse things, to start to really get in alignment with truth again. So just to, one that I've quoted before is Steve Forrest is a great astrologer, the inner sky. So just to explain what the moons are about. So in terms of the 13 moon calendar, it gives us a back to a framework of 13. And the number 13 is all about shift. It's about movement. It's about being in alignment with galactic cycles. And he talks about the moon, the function of the moon in terms of astrology, in terms of the full moon coming tomorrow. The development of the ability to feel or to respond emotionally, the development of subjectivity, impressionability, and sensitivity, the development of what we might call a soul. Dysfunction, emotional self-indulgence, timidity, laziness, wishy-washiness, overactive imagination, indecision, moodiness. Key question: what kinds of experiences are most essential to my happiness? When moodiness and irrationality overtake me, how are they expressed? What unconscious emotional needs motivate my behaviour? So we live in a framework largely in the Western world where most of what is going on in our life makes us feel very unwell. It's like we're living in some spell, because we are, we're living in something that's very disempowering, that creates illness. And so we're lifting the veils around that. We're told, if we go to try and get some sort of fix for all the symptoms that we're experiencing, which may be a lot of emotion, feeling lost, losing the plot, not having any hope because things are so hard right now. And the suggestion that we can have some sort of a pill that will take all of this away is absolute nonsense and bullshit. All it will do is numb us. And to go back to Pink Floyd, The Wall, for example, comfortably numb. That's why most people are taking heroin, K, getting stoned, getting drunk, emotionally eating, anything to not feel all the feelings, to get high on caffeine, to start the day, kickstart the day, to go and do something that they don't want to do because they think that they have to. But the only way to stop this cycle from happening is to actually face the reality of where we are and stop doing what hurts us. And that is it. No pill, no medication is going to stop that. That's the truth. The lie that we've been sold in the frameworks that we have around health right now, it's just nonsense, absolute nonsense. And deep down, we all know that to be true. So just thinking that there's some sort of quick fix for the mess that we've all got ourselves into, that is a complete lie. There's no coincidence that tomorrow is going to be the election in the UK. And again, people getting a reality check, regardless of which party or whatever, just look at the evidence of what's been happening in the past 3-4 years, especially in the UK. Look at the evidence, look at everything that's been happening and what's led to this place. That's what needs to be looked at, the truth of it. And again, the truth of the whole system around people who are in power. It's time for us all to wake up, and it's time for us to do what needs to be done within our own self, inside. Make the hard choices, be disciplined, prune the vine. If it's not working, and it hasn't been working for a long time, it's not going to work, is it? So we have to make the change now. As hard as it feels, we might not have the answers yet, we might not have the solutions yet, we might have a lot of pain. It's something that we really have to go through right now to come to a different place. So the gateway is today, where are we as human beings? Gemini and Sagittarius, the axis of relationship. What words need to be spoken on a basic level in order for us to create new stars, new frameworks, new galaxies on the inside so that the outside can change. What I offer you is, I believe it's already written. There is a template. There is something to align with. It's called truth. And coming into balance with the masculine and feminine on an inner level, learning new things, unlearning things that no longer serve us, that is the key. And taking the baby steps one day at a time so that we can personally evolve and play our part in human evolution. If you want to know any more information about how to work out cosmic codes, how to work out your cosmic codes, how to learn about emotional healing and use a framework called Emotional Freedom Technique, please do get in touch with me. I've been doing this work now, specifically using these frameworks with EFT for 12 years, with astrology and the Mayan calendar for 8 years. And it has changed my life. It has changed the lives of many people that I've worked with. And my passion is about sharing these tools for self-empowerment for people to make these changes at very challenging times. So lots of love to you, and bye for now.